Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Totally Aquarian. If you are new, I make videos about astrology using my unique perspective based on not only my experiences, but also my studies. So if you're interested in astrology from a different perspective that focuses more on community and that focuses more on Aquarian values, then stick around, check out my other videos, and I hope that you'll subscribe, that you'll comment, just engage. Let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know how you guys feel about the content. And yeah, so let's get started with today's topic. Today I am talking some more about the 12th house. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about how the 12th house is belittled and also the strengths and how I feel like 12th housers are experience reality in general. So the 12th house in astrology, as I've talked about in my last video, and probably I think that was the only video that I really talked about the 12th house, if I'm being completely honest, and of course in my video about having chart ruler in the 12th house. But anyway, one of the things that the 12th house is also about is transcendence. And when we think about transcendence from one plane to another, then we have to keep in mind the nature of reality. And as I said before, and as many people have said, the 12th house is the house of asylums and jail and prisons and things of that nature, which I think is so interesting, right? Because it's also the house of like just full expansion of open space. Like for me personally, I've realized that I need to be in an open room, like either outside, or I need to be in a really large space to actually feel comfortable. And that's so interesting, right? Considering the 12th house kind of can seem really confined, right? Mostly about confinement. So I wrote down some notes here. I'm basically just gonna flesh out each of these notes. I don't know how, but I'm gonna try to do it. So the first note that I have here, the first bullet point that I have is that 12th housers question the nature of reality. And I think a lot of people are naturally uncomfortable. Actually, not naturally. I think people are programmed to being weary of 12th house matters and 12th house people. Now, 12th house people are usually regarded as mentally unstable people. I mean, let's just keep it a band, And I think one of the reasons why people are so uncomfortable with mentally unstable people, and I'm not talking about mentally different, like I'm talking about like you really are one foot in this reality, one foot in another reality, And I can't go through all of the different mental differences and yeah, I'm not going to be able to go through that, right? Because I don't even know all of them. But one of the things is like schizophrenia is something that a lot of people are uncomfortable with, okay? And not discounting from the medical definition of schizophrenia, but my understanding of schizophrenia is someone who is going back and forth between different realities. So what does that mean? Example, you know how in The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy went, to Oz. And so she had a regular life in Kansas and then she had Oz. Okay. To me, in my opinion, someone with schizophrenia is like going back and forth between Oz and Kansas at all times. Like there's kind of no separation. Oz is Kansas and Kansas is Oz. So remember how in the movie, Dorothy had issues with that lady who in Oz is the Wicked Witch of the East, I think. And, or is it, which, I think it's the Wicked Witch of the West. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the green lady, okay? So she had issues with her. Imagine that you're going back and forth between, you know, Kansas, which the lady is literally trying to take your dog and basically kill your dog, right? And then you have the Wicked Witch who is literally trying to kill you. And imagine responding to the Wicked Witch of, imagine responding to the Wicked Witch while you're in Kansas. Does that make sense? Everybody around you is going to be like, what are you talking about? If you're like, this lady has a broom and she's literally green, and yeah. So a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. Now, I'm not saying that schizophrenia is some type of like, I'm not trying to take away the reality of people who experience really detrimental things with people with schizophrenia and people who have had schizophrenic episodes and things of that nature. Everything that I talk about in my channel, by the way, like I said, when it comes to the astrology, which even though I'm talking about 12th house right now, like when I'm talking about like very specific things, this is real life account. Okay, unless I'm saying like people say or I've read or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, right? I just want to put that out there because I don't want anybody to think that I'm talking about these mental differences in a way that is invalidating the lack of safety. But I also want to remind you guys that the lack of safety, okay, has a lot to do with how this reality operates from a place of Oz doesn't exist. So of course, if this plane is saying Oz doesn't exist, you're going to get put in a hospital, you know? So it definitely is a third eye type of phenomena when it comes to that. But for some people, they're highly, highly sensitive to other realities, highly sensitive. And I do think that some of these people, they have very prominent 12th house energy, and they get put in asylums. They get sterilized, essentially. And people would rather have it that way, if I'm being completely honest. I think that, again, what I said earlier, the whole rhetoric around the 12th house tells a lot about how people would rather have 12th housers locked away, you know, for the safety of society. But nobody ever kind of questions, or people don't really question the nature of their reality, and 12th housers literally question. That's why we're obsessed with dreams and we're obsessed with imagination. And, you know, the levels are different depending on who you're talking to and their life story and how much they even tap in. Because just like I said in the last video, if you talk about, I'm going back and forth between Oz and Kansas. Okay, so yeah. I have here, but it's just a lot of belittlement, and it's a lot of, the 12th house is such in a box, like the way people, to me, the way people talk about the 12th house is in, like, they just keep the 12th house in a box. And 12th house energy cannot be put in a box. It is literally everything. It's everything. It's all the realities. It's all of the dimensions. It's all of the possibilities. And I think that maybe it's the Pluto and Aquarius. I got Pluto and Aquarius transiting my 12th house, you guys. So as we keep talking about Pluto and Aquarius, and we're kind of ramping up that energy and preparing for that energy. And I also have a Cancer moon, so I'm like really sensitive to the energies and stuff like that, especially the energies that are coming in and the energies that are here, right? If you think about it. And so yeah, I got Pluto transiting my 12th, coming up transiting my 12th. So I'm just pretty much wanting to bring in this new perspective that's actually not new, but that has been ostracized, that has been beaten down, that has been and that has been sold back to us through movies about the multiverse and movies about other realms and realities. And yet, in the same token, imprisons people who experience that. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these ideas of these other worlds and all of these things come from 12th housers in asylums, and they just steal their ideas, and nobody questions why there's so many movies and entertainment about this type of stuff. Some people might say it has a lot to do with people just want to get away and want to escape. But hello, escape has a connotation. Okay? You can't escape unless you're locked up. So what does that really say? And I think we're coming into a time where a lot of people are going to be sharing very out there experiences and are going to be able to handle living in Oz or living in Narnia or living, there's just so many, right? So many examples, and just in popular culture. But living in other realms and living here and being like, okay, enough of this shit. Enough of this. Enough of pretending that this is the real reality. And what I've seen astrology morph into or popularize into is this place of us just trying to navigate this plane, this reality, and yet not taking into account anything else. And it's very personal, where, like I said, the 12th house is so multidimensional, so community oriented, cosmically oriented. And I think that we need to start looking at our lives as well as astrology from a cosmic standpoint. And there is esoteric astrology, which all of the planets have, esoteric rulerships. And I do sort of know about that. And that also pretty much is kind of the realm of cosmic astrology, is esoteric astrology. But it doesn't negate that people are experiencing real-time events that others feel like they're ready for. And what I mean by this is, I was literally just saying, I think like yesterday, I was like, if you've came into spirituality or if you've come into astrology, like, it doesn't matter, right? And I'm not a gatekeeper. This is just my opinion. If you've came into spirituality and you haven't gotten to the point where you literally feel like you're crazy and reality is like, you've unlocked the secrets of reality, I don't really know what you're doing, if I'm being completely honest. I think spirituality is so much more than generational curses. And somebody else might, you know, pose the question like, but even you being able to talk about this stuff and that is maybe breaking a generational curse and stuff like that. But I think it's about time that we like transcended that stuff. Like, a curse can be a gift. A curse can be a blessing if you know how to alchemize it. And that's another reason why, like, I don't understand why people relate the 12th house and the 8th house so much. They are so different. Like, the 8th house really is on some like karmic stuff, amongst other things, and it really is about the plane itself, whatever plane it is that you're talking about. But the 12th house is everything. So I don't understand why people connect them. I know people say because they're water houses, but y'all already know, if you watch my other videos, you already know how I do my astrology. So the 8th and the 12th, although they do have, like, you know, because all of the houses are connected at the end of the day, but this overemphasis on the connection between the 8th and the 12th is absolutely insane. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about hidden realms, and I wanted to use the example of the Chronicles of Narnia because I did talk about it in the last video, and I wrote a couple notes about what I think, excuse me, Lucy, who was the youngest of the group and who was the one that actually found the wardrobe, what I think her 12th house might be, or the rulership of her 12th house, and kind of how I came to that conclusion, and how you can use your 12th house to kind of uncover hidden realms, to make connections, maybe with hidden realms and hidden worlds that you are already making connections with and that are already making connections with you. So let's get started with that. So if you watch the Chronicles of Narnia, Lucy found the wardrobe while they were playing hide and seek at the new house where they were at. And it was actually covered and it was in a room by itself. Okay, so I was thinking that she could possibly have ruler of the 12th in the 8th. The reason why I think she has ruler of the 12th and the 8th is because the 8th house has to deal with secrets, but also has to deal with bloodlines. And as you guys know, the kids were rulers of Narnia. And also because the wardrobe was by itself. You know, it was in a room by itself. It was covered. So that's like a really basic, you know, type of thing of why I think she has rulership in the 8th house. I was also saying maybe the 4th, because of, you know, the home and stuff like that. But I think it's more so the 8th house, if I'm being completely honest. Now, at the end of the movie, what's his name? Aslan, the lion, had given each of the siblings like a new name, or not a new name, but like kind of like a, I don't even know what to call it, but anyway, Lucy's name was, oh, I didn't even write it down. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, like Peter's name was Peter the Magnificent. That's her older brother's name. I don't remember Lucy's, what the whole name that, you know, they had given her, but it was Lucy the something. Okay. And in the movie, he had given each of the siblings like a like a token, you know, and Lucy's was a cure like type thing where she could cure people. And he also gave her a dagger. So cures is actually Scorpionic energy, and dagger is actually Martian energy, which Scorpio traditionally is ruled by Mars. So I would even say that even though daggers and knives is actually more Aries, the drawing of the blood is Scorpio, so there is a difference. But you know, there's Martian energy here. So perhaps she could have Mars in the 12th house, or Aries or Scorpio in the 12th house, or Aries or Scorpio in the 8th house, or, you know, Mars in the 8th house, you know, whatever it is. But that was just kind of like a really quick general analysis of what I think that Lucy would have. Now, if you guys know the show Dragon Tales, this is another show that has to do with two realities. And Dragon Tales was set in their playroom. So it could be like a chart rulership in the 5th. There could be some Mercury because it has to do with her siblings, or Mars because her brother, well, I'm not going to say her brother because who was the main character? Was it Emmie or was it Max? And you could maybe say the same for the Chronicles of Narnia, because all her siblings went with her, so she could have like Mercury going on in there as well. You know, there is a difference, you know, with a lot of these shows. Like, is it just one person? Is it two best friends going? Is it all the siblings? You know, all of this stuff you're going to be able to see as well and kind of like analyze. So the planets in your 12th house is going to talk about the symbolism, the archetype. Okay, so Sun talks about the ego, the personality. Okay, the moon is about memories and feelings. Mars is about drive and willpower. Venus is about attraction and taste. Jupiter is about wisdom and exploration. Mercury is about communication and transportation. And Saturn is about lessons as well as blockages, mastery, craft. So you want to pay attention to what planets you have in the 12th house, what rulership you have there, to know what hidden realms and hidden worlds that you are connecting with if you don't already know them. I don't know if I mentioned it in my last video, because I actually made this video like a couple days ago just to kind of like spew everything out and then watch it back and then take notes from what I said. So I don't I think it might have been in that first draft, but pay attention to what you liked as a child. Like, what fantasy worlds were you connecting with, that you wanted to connect with, that you held some type of fascination with. That will tell you more as well. So the signs is going to show you the energy, the influence, the color, or the vibe. So I'm not going to go through all the signs. But this takes a very, like, you want to be open to your imagination as well, because 12th house is also about meditation and retreat. So like, you can go out of your way, do some meditation, trance-like states, or whatever you want to do. Tap into your third eye. Also, this is going to be really important for 12th house energy, is tapping into your third eye, as well as making sure that your third eye is protected. Okay, a lot of people in this world have a cracked third eye, and my personal definition of a cracked third eye is someone who can't see the truth of reality. Especially one-dimensional people, they have cracked third eyes. So I definitely would say, like, work with your third eye a lot, do visualization techniques, stuff like that. If you're a natural person who's very kind of like attuned, then, you know, this isn't going to be really hard for you. But I do think that it is important to kind of recognize, like, what worlds am I kind of like slipping in and out of? Because you know how people say 12th housers are like natural channelers, and like, especially like Mercury in the 12th housers, they say that we channel from other realms, and we have this direct connection. Well, Jupiter in the 12th house actually is more so like this. I have Jupiter in Pisces at 0 degrees in the 12th house, like right before my ascendant. And a lot of people say it's like this this ability to be lucky, and like you have angels all around you and stuff like that. I mean, I like that description. I'm not going to say that I completely agree with it. What I will say, however, is that what you have in the 12th house says a lot about your operation in other realms and realities, and says a lot about you know, just that in general. So I hope that you guys found some gems from this video. If you have absolutely any questions, please put them in the comments down below. I'm definitely looking forward to making more 12th house and other types of realities and dimensions, and tapping more into that, because it's about time. So if you guys enjoy these type of videos, please give a thumbs up and share your feedback, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.